Today I want to introduce you to the Anker Solix EverFrost 2. Now this is an electric cooler. It is battery operated. You can also plug it in AC, as well as you can do up to 100 watts of solar. And this is not going to be your typical unboxing video because I've actually already unboxed it and I've already started using it right away. Now I had a party recently, so this cooler was on the deck and people were helping themselves to refreshments out of the cooler. So what's awesome about this cooler is it uses batteries that are made of lithium iron phosphate. And if you don't know what lithium iron phosphate is, it is a far superior battery technology. These batteries will last a really long time if treated appropriately. So let's take a look at this cooler and I'll show you all the functions of it. And we will go through and talk about how I've been using it and how it's worked out for me. So right off the bat, let's do an overall look of the cooler. So as you can see, we have the front here, we have Solix logo on the front. We also have this bar here. And what this bar does is you can actually buy some accessories and you can hang like a cutting board or some cup holders or what have you on this accessory bar. You can look at their website and see what type of accessories they have for this. You can also see here we have a bottle cap opener, and that's pretty much it for this side. So let's go ahead and turn the cooler around. On this side here, we have like a cutting board handle. So you would lift this up and it clicks in really nice, but you lift this up and then there's a bar under here that you can drop down to sturdy it. So now you have a table. You can use this for a little cutting board or just a table to put your phone and drinks. And then we also have a really rugged handle to lift the cooler. And on the back side here, we just have the name. And this here, actually I'm gonna turn my whole workbench. So this side here, you can see we're a little bit dusty because I've actually been using this cooler. We can pull down this here and we have the batteries. You can see we have one battery and two batteries. Now, if you were to order just the cooler, it comes with just a single battery, but I went ahead and got a second one. And these are what the batteries look like. You can see we have a USB-A and a USB-C here, as well as a power bar, and I have full power. When you do just order the cooler, you get this neat little compartment here, and you can actually use that to store stuff in. Let's say put your cables that came with the cooler in here. You could put them in the little bin, and there you've got onboard storage, which is nice. It's nice that they included this. Here's the battery that it came with. As you can see, it's a little bit dusty, but it works great. So the way that these work is you slide it in, and when you click the handle up, it actually locks the battery in place. If you pull the handle down, you can pull it out. So now when I actually first opened this up, I thought, oh, that would be cool if they had a way to plug in the USB and route the cables out. And then when I closed this, I realized that they actually have ports here that you can slide your USBs in, so you can actually get to it if you want to charge your phone off the cooler batteries. Down here we have the plug-in for the AC, DC, and the solar. So if you're going off your car, you can just plug it into your cigarette socket and plug this in. The AC, you get this power brick, which is going to convert AC over to DC and then charge the batteries. Oh, I don't have that sitting in there right. There we go. That converts that. Now, the way that they design this, when you plug this in, it covers the solar port with the end of the cable. So if anybody has any questions, if you can, let's say, run a solar panel and use your cigarette socket at the same time, you cannot. Another cool thing to talk about, if you go to use the cigarette socket, there is a protection mode on the fridge. Now, I haven't been able to find where they list voltages, but you can have protection so that your car battery doesn't get discharged too much and then you're not able to start your car. So they have a built-in safety function for that. And then we have the solar, which I bought this off of Amazon. Now, if you were to buy the actual Anker solar panel, they have a 100-watt foldable solar panel. I'm sure this is going to be built into the panel itself. But if you want to use your own panel, then you can buy an MC4 to XT60 connector to plug into the cooler if you want to run your own 100-watt solar panel. Now 100 watts is the max for the solar panel, but I found 100 watts is more than enough. I had actually had this discharge below 50% sitting in the garage, and then I brought it outside and plugged it into a rigid solar panel, and you know, maybe 3 hours later the batteries were back up to full and it was running like a champ. So, and this, I actually left it too in direct sunlight so that this black would heat up, and I could see how the temperature efficiency was between ambient and inside the fridge cooler freezer, and it did amazing. It charged up the batteries and it kept running to like 1 degree temperature. So really impressed with the overall performance. You can see the display here. We have the power button, the OK/menu button. We also have a temperature button and an up and down or a lock, and the screen itself. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And I can hear the fan starting up. We have battery connected, and currently inside the fridge freezer it is 16 degrees. Now if I click the temperature button, this is the setting for the fridge right now. Now you can change this from Fahrenheit to Celsius. As you can see up here, we have a Wi-Fi logo. I have actually connected this to Wi-Fi, and you can see both batteries here at 100%. And let's see what we can do. So right now our mode is in smart mode. Let's go ahead and run that in max. And you can set the screen brightness, and this is the protective voltage. If you're using your car to charge, you can protect your battery. There's our temperature unit, language, and back. And if you want to change the temperature, you can just hit that button up or down and then OK. There we go. So now the cooler has started up. Let's take a look at the app and show you what that looks like. So now you can just connect to Bluetooth. You don't need to connect to Wi-Fi. But I actually really like the Wi-Fi because I can leave my house and then still check in and see how it's doing. I was monitoring the battery, and I ran this cooler for about 6 days with just battery alone. So it kept the contents at 1 degree for 6 days. Now that was not with opening and closing the door periodically like you're going to do in a real world type scenario. So comfortably, I'd say 4 to 5 days on battery alone, you'd be safe with 2 batteries. Okay, now you can see here, I've got the Solix EverFrost 2. You can rename that to whatever you want. And you can see here we have 16 degrees. So this is all the settings I've set. 16 degrees, it's set to go to 1 degree. And then you can see the battery 100% on the left and the right. Our battery output, and then if we had solar connected, or if we connect this to, let's say, a wall outlet or your car, you would have battery input. But currently I'm at about 50 watts of battery output because it's cooling the contents, which I actually don't have anything inside. And while that is going, I'll show you another really cool thing about this fridge. So the EverFrost is because this cooler has something that no other cooler has, is a built-in fan for circulation. That's why it says EverFrost. Eliminate the frost inside of the fridge, basically. So this little fan right here, designed by Anker Innovations, and this is the Frost Flow Air Cooling. So this is going to keep things circulating inside the fridge, which is going to help to combat the frost. So if you were to use this as, let's say, even if you use it as a fridge on those humid days, when you're pulling stuff in and out, humidity is going to get in here. So this helps combat that, as well as if you use this as a freezer, because you can go down to minus 20 degrees. But it's going to help your contents from not building up frost and then soiling whatever it is you have in here. So this is what the inside of the fridge looks like. We got a light here that comes on once you open the door, and there's a drain for the drain pan that's here. You can pull this out, and that will drain out onto the ground if you happen to have any liquid accumulate inside of here. It's the inside, and this is that fan that I was just describing. Please be careful not to pinch your fingers when closing the door. That's good advice. So when I did have this cooler running off of solar, it worked out really great. I got about 60 watts of solar, a little bit hazy out because there is a forest fire and it's actually really far from me, and I'm surprised the smoke's getting here. but nonetheless, it has been hazy because of the smoke, but I was still able to get 60 watts of charging, and it was enough to go from 50% up to 100 within like 3 to 4 hours. So that was really impressive, the solar capabilities of this cooler. Overall, love it. I've been using it. I'm going to keep using it. This is actually going to be my daily. I'm almost thinking of, I'm going to build a shed in the back of the property, and I'm thinking about putting a 100-watt solar panel on the roof and have this back there loaded with water and drinks, so that if I'm ever out back there working, I've got a spot to do a pit stop and collect some liquids. So there is a compressor in here. I can actually feel a little bit of the fan moving air here, but there's a compressor. It's going to draw air in through the back here at the bottom. Yeah, I can feel it sucking, and then it's going to blow out here at the top. You can also buy as an accessory, they do sell larger wheels with a built-up front part here just to lift you up off the ground, give you more of an off-road. Like let's say you're out in the sand or something and you want this higher. They do sell a kit for off-roading, I'm going to call it. So overall, very impressed with this. They also supply wheel chocks. So if you wanted to chalk the wheel, you can chalk the wheel, and then that way the cooler is not going to go anywhere. And I'll leave a link for these solar connectors if you want to use your own solar panel. Anker does sell their own 100-watt folding solar panel. I just don't have one to pair with this. Any solar panel will work, but I suggest sticking with the brand of the cooler and get yourself the Anker 100-watt solar panel. Maybe in the future I'll do a video on one of them. Definitely like this cooler. I would highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. That's going to wrap it up for the Anker Solix fridge. Now, in the future, I'm going to do more videos of this. I've got a deck building project going on, so this is going to be handy for that. And overall, very impressed with this cooler. As always, if you like my videos, please subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye.